What's up, Marvin fans? This is Raphael from C Manga, and welcome back to another review of the Breaker New Waves, this week's chapter 194. Now, this was a very enjoyable chapter, as it was much needed in my opinion, as it cleared up some vague information and questions that needed to be answered. And one of those questions was something everyone's been wondering: what is Shi-Woon currently experiencing right now? And it is indeed the Black Origin threshold. He has entered it. This is something, people were being a bit confused about, saying he wasn't entering it. I think some people even confused it with the Phoenix Cry, when the Phoenix Cry indeed was the echoing blast, the vocal attack he used before the actual transformation into the Black Origin threshold. So now it's been officially stated he's using the Black Origin threshold, which is something I wanted to have clarified. One of the other interesting things is this element they kind of added towards Chun-Woo and Shi-Woon's, you might as well say, relationship and scenario right now, which is that the former is apparently protecting the latter from Kaiser's overseeing gaze. And this makes me wonder, how deep is this? How far back does this plan go? Because the way Kaiser is implying at the end of the chapter that Chun-Woo has been indeed hiding this for a while now, because he said, "This is the treasure you've been hiding from me. Now I see, Chun-Woo, but what exactly are you going to do now?" And it makes me wonder, is this true? Has he been protecting Shi-Woon from Kaiser all this time, hiding him from his gaze? Or is this something that literally popped up recently and it was in the heat of the moment kind of thing, because he saw that Shi-Woon used Black Origin threshold, that is a valuable thing in the Mirren world. Kaiser now sees it and thinks, yep, he's on my radar. Or could it be that Chun-Woo did have this plan after, the end of part 1, where he shattered Shi-Woon's key set, and not only to just separate him from the Mirren world as we believe, but maybe he was hiding him from Kaiser. But when he used the drugs and started suffering from amnesia, he forgot about all of that. And as I said, we've seen that when Shi-Woon is in his presence, he starts to remember stuff. And then recently he remembered Shi-Ho and was crying about that. So there's a lot of confusion in that area, where I'm not entirely sure if this is a long-term plan or a recent, in the moment kind of thing, where he's just realized, crap, I do remember I'm a disciple. I didn't realize he would have learned the Black Origin threshold already, because he did leave it behind. He most likely knew he would remember it or try and learn it. But the fact that he's performing it right in front of him, right in front of everyone's eyes, and Kaiser to see, probably induced that he needs to protect him. But as I said, I'm wanting to see this clarified, whether it was something he's had planned back from the beginning, or this is just, a heat of the moment, oh crap, he's going into that mode. Because it did seem like that at the end of the chapter, when he was when his aura changed and the Black Origin threshold came out in its, truest form. And everyone is noticing, all the Mirren leaders, everyone knows what this form is. So it leads me to think, what is Chun-Woo actually going to do now? Because Kaiser says, what are you going to do? It's interesting to see what choice you're going to make, Chun-Woo. Let's see what you're going to do now that, the world has witnessed this new treasure. And I don't think he's going to kill him, because as Ju-San-Sik said in this chapter, and something I said last chapter, Chun-Woo looks like he's still holding back and fighting defensively. And despite Shi-Woon, being in the Black Origin threshold, and supposedly he should be more powerful, his experience is making him not be able to connect any hit, and his Black Origin threshold would eventually run out. So we even see that Shi-Woon received quite a deadly blow from Chun-Woo that should have subdued him. So it just shows you that Chun-Woo, if he was to turn it on, he probably could kill Shi-Woon instantly, despite Shi-Woon being Black Origin threshold. So I feel like he's not going to kill him. We'll either try and subdue him again or calm him down, maybe similar to the way Shi-Woon awoken Chun-Woo at the end of part 1, when he literally punched him out of Black Origin threshold. Maybe we'll see a reverse scenario where Chun-Woo will take him out of the Black Origin threshold. Who knows? But it's very tense moment right now, especially now that Shi-Woon has been displayed as, the official 9-Arch Dragon disciple. He can produce and use the Black Origin threshold. Kaiser is going to want a piece of that. So, and not to mention, speaking of piece of that, it seems like Shi-Woon has another girl to add to his harem, because at the beginning of the chapter we see Chun-Woo and I was laughing at her comment when she sees Shi-Woon. She wasn't scared. It seemed like she was somewhat aroused or attracted, and she's like, "Oh, this is really nice. It's like, this is amazing. It's like, I'll see you again, sexy boy." So I'm just thinking, this is what you think is sexy, this beast, demonic looking form. What the hell does she think looks ugly? I really would like to know. But it was interesting, and that part kind of made me laugh, because despite the fact that Jung-Chan is getting away, I wanted him to get his ass handed to. It's kind of good to see the shock and fear in him. He's literally had the crap scared out of him, and he is fleeing. And it's probably as good as I'm gonna get. It would satisfy my, I'd say, appetite of seeing him get humiliated. A beatdown would have been preferable, but this kind of fear that's been stricken into him is good enough. Now, another, I'd say, interesting reveal and kind of clear up was Ju San-sik's comments on Kwon's intention. It was a very touching part of the chapter, because it showed you that despite them being somewhat enemies, I'd say even rivals, they had somewhat of a friendly, admiring relationship between them, you know, like, and it was kind of interesting how he said, "I can understand what your intentions were. They were all for this boy's future, but you failed to see the true potential of this boy. It was much higher than you predicted." And then he even goes on further to say that, "Kwon, you're such a bastard. In life you annoyed me, and in death you annoyed me." And this makes me think he's going to miss him. He generally is going to miss Elder Kwon, and he respected him as not only, you know, a martial arts rival and enemy, most likely as a friend as well, and a fellow grand master. And I'd even say, to reference this, what it reminds me of. It reminds me of when Goku and Vegeta, when Goku sacrificed himself, you know, to attempt to take Cell with him when he blew up. And then obviously after everything was all resolved, Gohan killed Cell, Vegeta was left behind lamenting about Goku, saying that in life, you know, he's beaten me completely, blah blah blah, he annoyed him, and in death he's annoyed him as well. It's like, what have you left for me? It's the kind of same scenario. They both are going to miss that person that they hated but somewhat respected and admired in a way. So it's kind of that's the feeling I'm getting. So it was really nice to see that, but also, you know, cleared up what Kwon's intentions were. It was all for Shi-Woon's future under the Sun-Woo clan. So now it's literally all coming down to, what is Chun-Woo going to do to, I'd say, rectify the situation? How are people going to look at Shi-Woon now? They know that, you know, he's the official Grandmaster, the official Nine Notch Dragon's disciple. He can use Black Trojan Threshold. And now Kaiser is got his interests on him. He's on his radar. There's so much crap that's going to happen next time. So I definitely can't wait to see what's going to happen. The main thing I want cleared up is whether Chun-Woo really did have a plan from the beginning to hide Shi-Woon from Kaiser, or is this just a recent thing? But no, nevertheless, enjoyable chapter. I feel like the authors could, you know, prove me wrong and say this was legit from the start, and I'll accept it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So you guys know the usual. If you've got any opinions, predictions, let me know what you think in the comment box below, and I'll speak to you guys next time. Take care.